Hello, Cherries. Welcome to Live Cherries Sunday, Special Monday, episode 243. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use diminished arpeggios over functioning dominant chords to spice up your blues a little bit. This is really cool. Say hello here to Jeffrey Boyle. Give you a round of applause. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me here today. I'm going to give you a little example. Right now, what we're going to do, it's a 12-bar blues that we have going on here in the key of G. And I created a little loop right here. So go ahead and do that. As soon as this fire truck goes by. You hear that? Well, we are in Brooklyn, so you got to kind of go with it here. So we have a regular 12-bar blues here. Here's what it sounds like right here while the fire engine goes by. Just a G. G7 chord to a C7. G7. D7. C7. And turn around. Something like that. If you're enjoying this so far, hit that like button, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel. We go live every Sunday, except when we can't. Then we go live on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. But we're doing something really, really cool today, and this is like the next level in the blues, I would say, to kind of add a little spice to your blues up a little bit. And my knees start saying, Red SG's rule. I'll give you a round of applause for that. I tend to agree with you. Yeah. And cheers to you. And cheers to Jeffrey Boyle right there. And very, very cool. So it's very simple what we're doing. Let me just take you over here to this screen so you can see this a little bit bigger. So I'm playing just a regular 12-bar blues progression. And first of all, I didn't say this, but happy Labor Day to you. Enjoy your day off if it is a day off, and lots of appreciation goes out there for the working class people, such as myself, such as you, and so yeah, really grateful for that. And so yeah, let's play some guitar here today. The first thing I would say, what I'm doing is I'm playing a straight 12-bar blues, and you know, I'm playing the pentatonic scale in here. I mean, adding the blue note in there too, like. So it's a blues scale. And a lot of people play that over a blues like this, which is the G7 chord. So it's, you know, it's just a mixture of the minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, and just blend them together. It's a hybrid scale. Just call it a hybrid. So it's really a major and minor pentatonic. But if you want to add like an outside spicy note to this, what I'm doing is before I go to the 4 chord, I'm playing a G sharp diminished chord. So it's really a chord like that into the C. You know, like a just blends really nice into it, like that. And I started off by playing, see, first thing you could check out is a G sharp diminished chord is really the same thing as a, wait, like this. That's the chord. No, it's like this. Like, yeah. Just like that. It's the same thing as the G dominant chord, and all you're doing is, well, here's the G dominant chord. You're just adding, you're throwing away the G and you're adding a G sharp. It's the same, the rest of the notes are the same. Like in G7 chord, you have a G, you have the F, then the B, and the D. You just add the G sharp instead. So that's the G diminished. Just my fingers, I'm switching my fingering. We can go like that, or like this. So on that 4th bar, I'm just adding a lick from G diminished right there. G sharp diminished. So, you know, for the first 3 bars, I'll go 1, 2, 3. Then the 4, I'll go. And I'll go into a note from the C chord. You know, something like that. That's the major third of C. So really, really cool trick right there. And to stepping up into the 4 chord, just playing that. Or you could just hit the root note, whatever you want right there. But really, an easy way to look at it, when you see that G7 chord, you're just adding a G sharp to it, and it makes it sound kind of like this, like this chord right here, which is a flat 9, a G7 flat 9 chord, which is kind of like this. I can't even play it. That chord right there. See how nice that goes into a C chord? So really, that's it. And it's a nice lick like here, right here. So really, the G7 flat 9 is the same thing as the G sharp diminished right there. Because that's really what all it is right there. Here's the diminished arpeggio. Just like that. So any questions about this stuff, let me know. I know it gets a little confusing, but really, you're playing a G7 chord right here. So on that 4th bar, you could do a G sharp arpeggio, which is like into that C chord. And it's really easy. The shape is really easy too for a G sharp arpeggio. Check it out. All these diminished arpeggios, they're all just minor thirds up from each other. So if you can go this, minor third, to the B string, then here. Now watch this, minor third, minor third, minor third. You have to skip a string because of the B. I mean, skip a fret because of the B, and then go up a whole fret. Oh man, is that? Hold on a second. Okay. Sorry, my email was on. I got a notification for that. Sorry about that. So really from the G, the fourth bar, the G sharp, diminish. Right there. So it blends right into that C nicely. Okay. Then from the C chord, there's another one where you just go from C to C sharp, diminished, back to the 1. So that's the next one we're going to get into in just a second. I just want to see how you're doing out there today. What are you drinking out there? I know it's beer o'clock somewhere. It's Labor Day. You should be drinking beer, but I have nothing left of my coffee, and it's so depressing. Look, check this out. There's nothing left. I only made like a half of a cup. Brutal today, but that's okay. It's Sunday. We have more coming. Hello. SG's Rule. I need one for sure. Love this guitar. Punk Rocket. Hey everyone. What's happening? Punk Rocket saying, I have an SG2. She's my favorite guitar. Right on. You know, this is probably one of the oldest guitars I have in my collection. I think the only guitar that I had this since 2008. So the only guitar that I've had that's older than this that I've had is I have a Taylor acoustic. It's a 410. And I've had that since 97. It's a 92 guitar. So that's the oldest one I have. And right on. SG and Flying V are my next guitars. Yeah. SG it's a great guitar to have. I mean, it's a little temperamental. You know, it's hard to keep it in tune a bit, you know. But it's been pretty good lately. It's like you know, just gotta stretch the string out a little bit. See right there? Might be a little sharp. Close enough for rock and roll. The neck's a little neck heavy on this. Because the bodies are so thin, it's a neck through body. You got to be real careful how you place your shoulder onto the neck, because it'll just wobble your tuning right there. You're stretching, you're bending the guitar, essentially. So you have to really fret it, pick the notes, and not put any pressure on your right arm here. It's a little tricky right there. Christopher Eden, how you been? Good to see you. Give a round of applause. So I'll just show you what this sounds like over just the 1 chord switching to the 4, where I did a lick that was like. Check it out. See what I mean right there? Over that 4th beat. The 4th beat, I went right to the 3rd of G. That's why I played the 3rd of G. I played the 5th. I played the 7th. Then I played what would be the flat 9, which is that note, G sharp. But all that really is also, if I dropped out the G sharp down here, check this out. I went right to the chord tones of G7, the 3rd, 5th, 7. So that makes it kind of like just a flat 9 chord, just like this. You get that sound. Back to the C. You could also just hit the G sharp right off the top, which gives you that shape, that diminished arpeggio shape. But I left it out. I started right on the 3rd, because you can start on any one of these 4 notes. And You can start here. Any one of those goes into it. To C. Down here. Or this one. Or the start on the seventh. The seventh right there. Alright. Now this one. Or there. Or. Nope. Go to that one, to the third. So it's pretty cool right there. It's just taking the arpeggio on the fourth beat. You're going to step out of G for a second. I guess essentially throw away the G note, or exchange it, or replace it, or substitute it with a G sharp. Then you have all the same notes as the arpeggio. So you got to know that one. It's a pretty good idea to know the G dominant arpeggio, G7 arpeggio. Third, fifth, seventh, root, third, fifth, seventh, root. That'll go into C as well. I did that. But doesn't it sound a little bit more better to go like it's a little bit more you know, a little more tension in there. So you can start anywhere with those. So it's the same scale. Only I'm exchanging the G for the G sharp. It's a diminished arpeggio. Oops. Same note as the G arpeggio. Except I'm going up the G sharp. G sharp, third, fifth, seventh, G sharp, third, fifth, seventh, G sharp. It's all the chord tones of G, but the G is G sharp now. Or you could think of it a whole different way by not even thinking of the G chord and just thinking of just the G sharp arpeggio. But it's kind of good to look at them both ways to really see what it's doing to the G. See what this diminished chord. Because I can see what it's doing right here. I can see that it's, because really G is on the bottom. If you think about it, the band is still playing G. So it's always good to know what your next chord is doing to G. And like if the band's going G, you're now hitting this chord. You know, that's the tension right there that you have. So you're playing G, sharp, flat 9 right there. Which goes nicely into a C. So it's kind of like, you know, jazz harmony. It's a little bit of jazz in there. It's not a bad thing learning a little bit of jazz theory to get you into the blues and to expand the blues a little bit. Just like More Better Blues, Jeffrey Boyle. They're saying Robbie H. Love is having Mixolydian. That's the mode right there. Yeah, play that Mixolydian mode. And Christopher Eden, greetings from Madison, Wisconsin. I love it out there in Wisconsin. Ah, Cafecia cold brew. Oh, sounds delicious. All right. And the Mixolydian, G Mixolydian. Mixolydian mode is just the major scale with a flat 7. So instead of going, know, flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fits perfectly with the arpeggio as well. It's a nice dominant scale, leads you to the next chord. And that's the whole idea, is that this G7 chord, a dominant chord, the whole idea of it is it wants to pull you to this next chord. So this chord on its own takes you right to the C. So it's like this. What if we added this note to it as well? It's a little bit more tension in there. And I'm just adding just that one note. That's the G sharp or A flat. Otherwise, it's the same inside notes we're playing of the Mixolydian mode. See, that's the scale. The Mixolydian mode is the scale that we want to play here over this blues. Check this out. Over this, I'll just play this, the one chord. And that's the scale. Right? I mean, I mixed it up a little bit, but essentially, when you take the blues, you take the minor pentatonic, and you want to bend up that minor to the third. And it goes into the 4 chord right there. So, mixing up the minor pentatonic, and then the Mixolydian mode. Is a nice combination of playing the blues. I messed that up a little bit, but you get the idea. I'm gonna change this YouTube channel to "You Get the Idea," and not even show anything. So, yeah. Then on that 4th chord, the 4th beat, that's where you would do the diminished lick into the C chord, the next one. And then from there, the C, you could play another diminished chord, which would be the C sharp, just going up. So it's the same concept. You're just taking the C7 chord. Now you have a C sharp diminished chord. Looks just like this. So here's a C7, the C, the 5th, the 7th, and the 3rd. Now if you just take your finger and put it a half step higher, C sharp, with the same rest of the chords, you have a C sharp diminished chord. You could do all the same stuff like this, the same type of licks. The C, the 5th, back to the G. This one functions a little bit differently because you're going back to the 1 chord. You're not playing a 5 to a 1, which is essentially what that is as well. So you got that sound where it's like you hit the 4 chord. So you're doing that on the 5th bar, 5, 6th bar, 7th bar, 8. Then you go to the 5 chord. Then you have your turnaround here. Then you have one last diminished, doing the same thing over the D chord, which is 5. Because that 5 lands back to the 1 right here. So you want to do the same type of thing. I mean, this chord on its own goes nicely to it. It's a 7 dominant chord. Mixolydian mode if you want. Goes right back to G. D Mixolydian. Or you do the same thing. You could play the diminished scale or diminished arpeggio. You're just taking the same chord right here. Take the D and go up 1. Like this one right here. Same chord. Take this, just move it up. See that sounds right there? Or is it diminished chord? You'll find them all over the place. You find the best ones that work for you. And come up with different licks like that. Over the 5, while it's playing a D chord is playing, you can go back to the G. It's the same thing. It's the same series of minor intervals. Minor third, minor third, minor third, minor third. That's 2 minor thirds down. You skip them. But they all lead somewhere, and they pull you back to this, because you have a D in the background, and I'm playing this D sharp. Once you go to this G. So over the 5 chord you got 4. And on the turnaround you have, you go. So that's the place to do it. And I'm just adding 1 extra note in that whole sequence right there. Just 1 note is doing all that. So really cool trick. Punk rocket. I wonder, does this relate to the solo from the song Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd? Where'd my water go? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think there's any diminished in there. I've done that solo before. I don't quite recall too much diminished in there. It just seems like more of a just like a pentatonic type of lead, you know. You know, stuff, all those licks and, you know. I don't want to play it exact, so I'll get a copyright claim. But I've done it. I've done the solo. But there's a lot of just Dorian licks in there. You know? Not much diminish in there. Unless there's some blues diminish where he might go. You know, sometimes I don't really recall. But as far as the movements go, the function, it's not even in a major key. It's a D minor, or is it B minor in the? It might even be B. I'm not sure. You know, so, but I think it's a minor key. You know, it's the thing with the SG too. You bend it too much, bend it right out of tune. So, nope. Dorian is the second mode. Sad. Not dad. D major, B minor. Yeah. D major is the relative to B minor. D major. So a mixture of D major and minor. So yeah. But so really, really cool. So you have to really understand the blues harmony here. And really all that is just 3 chords. You have the 1 chord. It's a 7th chord. That's just the G major chord, but make it a 7th. And you go into a C. It's all wide open right here, you know. Just play G, pentatonic. And have fun with it, you know, just back to the C. And you get a turnaround. And the turnaround is just on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, the last 2 bars. So you're essentially just going G, G7, 4 chord, C. Then you have another diminished that we already played. That's C sharp diminished, back to the 1. Or to the 5 actually. So you got 1, 1/7, which is G7, C, C sharp diminished, and then D, the 5 chord, which that 5 chord wants to pull you back to the 1, right? So that's where you can put that other diminished chord. Stuff like that. Because none of those notes in that C sharp diminished are in that G. So that's why when you get back to the G, it's like, whoa, it's like, it's nice. So you got these. You know? Oops. Back to the G. But once you know the basic harmony of the 3 chords, it's just 3 chords, you can play G minor pentatonic through the whole thing. Or the G blues scale. You know? So really the most important thing is to make it sound bluesy. I mean, that's the whole idea. It's the blues. It doesn't need to be like technical and too jazzy. You still want to get the sound. That's why the pentatonic is so important and so good, because it gives you that sound. Without that, you have no blues, you know? Then you add C. More blues. The 5 chord. Back to the 4. Turn on. Back to the G again. Right there. A few places for those diminished licks. Hello, Dana. Give you a round of applause. No, like the progression? No, like the progression. You talk about the Pink Floyd one still? Like the progression? Yeah, they do a lot of that. And David Gilmour does a lot of, I think in Comfortably Numb, they go back and forth a lot from D, B minor. So really good stuff here. And so you got to remember what the 5 chords are, and they're going to pull you to the next chord, to the 1 chord. That's all it is, really, right there. If you check out this, another brick in the wall, it's D minor? Okay, that's right. Yeah, I mixed that up with Comfortably Numb. Uncomfortably Numb. But in this chord, in this key, we got the G right here. On on the fourth bar, I'm going to G. To a C. That's a really cool trick right there too. When you have the diminished chord, like this diminished chord. This is the G7. Look, G7. But the G7 with a G sharp makes the G sharp diminish. You could take the same shape right here, move it up a minor third, minor third, minor third. Let's check it out. So it's the same chord, just different starting point. So any type of diminished shape that you have, when I did this one right here, before, like this one, or what was it, G sharp? This one, same thing up, every 3 notes. And it's still gonna function into the next chord. Really, really cool stuff right there, like that. You can go to that change, and on the 4 chord you can go. To the 4 chord. Back to the G. Back to the 5 chord. 4. Turn around. It's right there. Hopefully you're enjoying this, having a good time. Give a round of applause for that. I'm going to go up and bring this whole thing up to that second shape that we did this to, because it's good to learn this in a few different areas of the neck. We got, wait, about Johnny B. Good. Isn't that in the blues? Oh, absolutely. Johnny B. Good, it's all blues. I mean, Chuck Berry invented rock and roll, you know, it's like... Totally. You know? I don't want to play things exactly like it. I could, but I get copyright claims every time, but it's in the feel of it. It's all blues. And the major chords. Then to the 4 chord. You know, Chuck Berry was the master of the Totally. Chuck Berry rules, for sure. Who did he steal his licks from? Yeah, it goes back before him, you know. He stole his licks from all those guys, like Muddy Waters, probably. Who else? All those earlier blues guitar players, you know. Dating back to Robert Johnson, you know, the original blues man right there. Yeah, definitely. Probably got a lot of his licks too from his keyboard player. What's his name? Johnny Johnson, was that his name? Fantastic keyboard player that was really piano player. It was a really big part of his sound back in the day. A lot of horn players too that he got his licks from. Going off the deep end a little bit with some Chuck Berry licks, but we're having fun. Anyway, back to the diminished thing. That's the idea here of the video. And thanks for spending some time here with me today on Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to you. I hope you have more in your cup than my cup. My cup is empty. It had overflowed, and it's done now. So then you go up to this next position right here, because it's good to learn it in a few different positions. Check this out. If you go over to here, you start off the riff in this section. G. Right up here. Am I out of tune here? That's good. So right up here, pentatonic position 4. You know? Here's the 1 chord now, or G. So when I have that G sharp diminished, that's all I'm doing right there. Just going up from the G sharp, to the C. So you could do the same type of lick right here. Play this diminished lick into the C. So you have the G chord. To the C. Or to the C right there. C sharp, diminished. Back to the G. 5 chord. 4 chord. Oops. Back to the C. Back to the 1, the G chord. So really, you just have this, remember that, learn inside this position 4, and then learn to do a diminished run here off of this G sharp. Simplest way would just to go like that. So picture the G chord here, picture G diminished, and all of your G sharp diminished licks are just all minor thirds away. And look, here's your C right next to it. And the same idea when you get to the 4 chord is you have a C sharp diminish. So just take the C chord and just take the C and move it up a half step. Same key, or just hit the 3 notes. And back to the G. I'm trying to keep the chromaticism going here. So you got C, C sharp, and I'll hit the D note when it goes back to the G. Because that's the 5th of G. I'll do a little lick in G, blues. Back to the 5 chord. just a little lick here, dominant chord tone lick. C, 4 chord. Same thing. Now back to the G and the turnaround. 1, flat 7, 4 chord, C sharp diminished, D. Now once again, here's the D where you get play the D diminished. You just pick it up a half step here, D sharp. Back into the G right there. There's something you do that. Or start off over here and go. That's that whole full run diminished arpeggio right there. So here's the note. You know. So let's see what it sounds like with a little bit of music over this area right here. Something like that. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Hopefully you're digging this. We got some comments here. Jeffrey Blueface smiling. And, oh yeah, Robert Johnson licks from the devil himself. Did Robert Johnson, did he even exist? You know, what about T-Bone Walker? A lot of guys from the 40s. You want to hear like some good blues? Put in some Muddy Waters and just put in like blues guitarist Charlie Christian, and blues guys from the 40s. Here's some mean blues right there, where it all comes from. And for place something like Johnny Be Good, let's see, Johnny Be Good, what are the key elements you need to know as far as the blues? Man, just the pentatonic scale, really. And the Dorian mode. Dorian mode's good. Because when he plays that minor pentatonic scale right there, you know, say you're in A, right? It's good to know this note. That's sixth. Because you already got the fifth, the seventh, the root, third, minor third, root, seventh, fifth. It's all about the intervals. Fourth, third, root. This one, he does a lot of that, Chuck Berry. You know, he's always like, you know, it's all that. Because it fits the D chord too as well. You know, so learn the minor pentatonic, but learn this note. And then learn this little lick right here. That's a very bluesy Chuck Berry type of lick. He'll go. And he'll bend that up a lot. You know, just a lot of that area in these double stops. That's all I'm doing. Just and then mix them up, you know. You know. So just learn the box area right there. And like Howlin' Wolf, yeah. Absolutely. You know, if you play those songs, then you know Chuck Berry. Yeah, all this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Just Guns N' Roses, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. They all stole from the man himself, Chuck Berry, for sure. And you know, I don't know if you know this, but I was lucky enough to meet Chuck Berry a couple times. I hung out with him. You know, I opened up for him when I used to play guitar with Chubby Checker. And all the licks that I did with Chubby Checker were Chuck Berry riffs, essentially, right? And getting to open for Chuck and meeting him and playing all of his licks, you know. Another story I'll tell you, sometimes I did a sound check with his band where I essentially was Chuck Berry with his band. I did the whole sound check, played his guitar, played through his amps. It was one of the most memorable days of my life doing that, so it was really, really cool to do that. But let's just go back to what I was doing when it's diminished. So here's the homework assignment. The twist guy, that's right, Chubby Checker. You know, it was a lot of blues. You know, that's all it was for like 2 hours. We go. A lot of good stuff there. And so finishing up on this diminished thing, really good idea. Practice it all over the neck, but get it right here in this position. Learn some licks to go into the 4 chord. Pretty cool sound. Very simple arpeggio right there. 7th chord. Then the C sharp. Back to the 1. And on the 5, just playing licks over the chord tones. Then you turn around. A little diminished lick right here. And then to the G. Then up here. You know, in this pentatonic position. I moved it up to the 4th shape of pentatonic. Right there, because now I have that diminished. Here's the G. I started on the 3rd, and I can play that diminished. And that note right there is that flat 9. To the C. It's a nice lick right there. To the C. And then C sharp. Back to the G chord. 4 chord. I mean 5 chord. And turn around. Oops. And then I'm up here, and I do the same thing as you did down here, but in this position. Little lick. C sharp. The G. 5 chord. To the C, the 4 chord. And then turn around. So that's just the shape right there. Nope. Pretty crazy. Wow. How can I finger that? Let's see. I'm G. Like that. Talk about spider fingers. Oh my God. So, yeah. Really cool. Yeah, I played with Chubby Checker for 4 straight years. Toured all over the country. Some international shows. And I went back and I played 2 years later. Went back and did more shows with them. And Howlin' Wolf. Do the do. And that's some humble bragging. Well, I mean, you know. It's not really bragging. But I'm proud. I'm very proud of it, you know. I mean, it's definitely the legend, Chubby Checker, you know. I had to pinch myself sometimes when I was on stage with him playing. It's hard to believe, you know. And seeing the smiles on people's faces in the audience that grew up with him and danced with him and loved him, that was the real exciting part, you know. Just to see the people's faces when they got to watch him, you know. Really, really quite something, you know. So any questions about any of this stuff, please let me know. It was really fun here today, spending some time with you here on a Labor Day. No Labor Day today. Chubby just dissed the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So did he diss him? Because they've been dissing him his whole career. He just got in this year. It's remarkable because he should have been in many, many, many years ago. And he's finally in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which he should be. And he finally is. So if he disses them, then I would not be surprised. He should diss them, you know? He should say, you know what? I've waited 50 years to be in this thing. Now you want me in it? Okay. Here's what you could do with your your induction. So, but he probably won't do that. Unless he did, unless you know something. I don't know. But that's quite an achievement. And he used to talk about that all the time, you know, as far as how it was definitely like it's very political. How could Chubby Checker take this long to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Do you know how many people are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that you don't know of, who didn't have any contribution really? Not like I say any, but not quite the contribution that he had to rock and roll. He's one of the fathers of rock and roll. Chubby Checker. He's not in it. Took him this long to get in it. It's kind of a joke, right? So, you know, the guy who wrote it, Hank Ballard, wrote The Twist. He's in it. I believe, and I'm not sure, don't quote me completely on this, but his backup band, the Midnighters, are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Chubby Checker's not. At least until now. It is. So don't get me going on it. Get me fired up now. And what about the 70s, 80s rockers? Oh, man. Now you're talking my area, really, right there. Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page and Richie Blackmore and all those guys. Man, Eric Clapton, for sure. And seeing the joy on people's faces, getting a little choked up. And so, yeah, that is it. You'd see women, men, everyone in their 70s, you know, 80s, 90s, 50s. I mean, it was very remarkable. I mean, his music is so transcending that people of all ages would go and enjoy it. But really, the people that grew up with it, people that were teenagers in the 60s, you know, who were in their, you know, just, it brings them right back. And to see their faces, see their idol like that, you know, it's really amazing. The Rock Hall is a joke. Yeah, it seems to be, you know. Well, I just eliminated my chances of ever getting into it. But 70s and 80s rock rules. Absolutely. 80s. And all those guys from the 80s, of course, that's really when I grew up listening to guys like Yngwie Malmsteen and Eddie Van Halen. You know, it's like, come on. Eddie Van Halen and Yngwie and Randy Rhoads. Those are my idols right there, you know. Just playing minor scale, and that's Randy Rhoads. A little bit of tap in there. And of course, Tony Iommi, the godfather of rock, the guy who invented heavy metal, Tony Iommi, for sure, and Jake E. Lee, of course. Jake, all those guys are so great. That's where it all comes from, you know. All the guys from the 80s listen to people from the 70s. All the people from the 70s listen to people from the 60s, you know, and it just goes on and on and on like that. So, really cool. So, I'll mention my guitar course here before we wrap it up here for the day. But I do have a guitar course called the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar, where we talk about 4 different subjects. Fretboard memorization, where you can easily notice all the frets, all the notes all over the neck. Do the circle of fifths, where you could easily learn how to transfer everything you know into all the different keys. It's really cool. Blues soloing, and where we get into different chord progressions, much like we're doing now, different scales that you could use, and there's all kinds of backing tracks and PDFs on that. And then we get into the cage system, where we learn all the shapes across the neck in relations to 2-5-1 progressions, you know. So check that out. There's a link in the description. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much for checking out that. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you, My Knees Hurt, and Robbie H. Love, and Dana. If you have any questions about this stuff, please let me know. And, you know, let me know if you have any ideas for next week. I think we might be back to Sunday next week. Let's check real quick and see if we're going to be here on a Sunday. Sunday is going to be in September. Sunday will be the 7th. Nope, I'll be coming home from a 5-day tour I'm going on starting tomorrow. So we're going back to Monday next week. Monday, maybe Tuesday. I'll let you know in the community post. I'll leave you a message there. But any ideas for future lessons or ideas, just send me an email, info@jerrycherry. And it's always a good time. And thank you so much for spending some time with me here today. You are amazing for sure. I love you. Just remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see another video on the 5 steps to becoming a better blues guitar player, which is really a good video, put that right up there. I love yous, and I'll see you then. Peace. Have a great week. Happy Labor Day. Take it easy today, all right? Be cool.